Buenos días y buenas tardes, mis hermanos y mis hermanas de Guinea Ecuatorial. Es Gustavo Envela aquí, día de 23 de diciembre, casi a las 7:30 aquí en los Estados Unidos, en oeste parte. Casi 13 horas en Malabo y 14 horas en España. I'm going to begin this portion of this dialogue speaking English to make sure that there is no miscommunication whatsoever. First and foremost, I want to wish each and every one of you, Equatorial Guineans and non-Equatorial Guineans, a prosperous holiday season, and as we embark upon the year 2022, a year where we'll have to confront the pandemic of COVID-19 and its various variants, making sure that we all practice social distancing, vaccinations, washing our hands, and making sure that we protect both our loved ones, our friends, and yes, even our enemies. That being said, the Republic of Equatorial Guinea is on the rise. I want everyone to hear what I'm saying and feel it. The Republic of Equatorial Guinea, a small oil-rich nation that no one would care about if it wasn't for the discovery of oil in 1995. But for those of us who have been in this fight before 1995, I began mine in June of 1990, 5 years before the discovery of oil. We understand the import of human capacity, human dignity, integrity, and that African lives matter. So often, when talking about Africa, we refer to it as the dark continent, the heart of darkness. Who are the ones who are writing our history? Weren't people that look like us. There were people who came in, plundered the continent. Think of King Leopold in the Congo, and others, left, and then would write these horrible tales. When it comes to one of our countries, there's a book called Tropical Gangsters, written by Robert Klitgard. Robert Klitgard was an individual who in the 1980s traveled to my native country. Harvard educated, IMF economist, who used the names of actual people in Equatorial Guinea, people who were simply trying to eke out a living, family members of mine. Robert Klitgard would then go and embezzle $3 million from Equatorial Guinea using his contacts at the World Bank to get funding to projects to Equatorial Guinea while he was there. Google Tropical Gangsters. Robert Klitgard would then go on to the Rand Corporation, where my ex-wife used to work in Santa Monica. And I remember calling up Mr. Klitgard, this must have been the early 90s. He was the dean of the Rand Graduate School, and I asked him about Equatorial Guinea. And he knew full well that I knew what he had done. And so wherever you are, Mr. Klitgard, you're a thief. You took advantage of people who helped you out there. And I hope that you bring litigation to me so I can put out for the whole world what you did to our country when we were the most vulnerable in the 1980s. But the people like Robert Klitgard are just gnats. No, mosquitoes. The real culprits are those individuals who on a daily basis want to oppress the health, education, and socioeconomic well-being of a country the size of the U.S. state of Maryland. I can assure you today, December 23rd, 2021, as the new year is on the horizon, that the days of plundering, taking advantage of, capitalizing upon one's own pecuniary interest, not giving a damn about the welfare of Africans while I'm on this earth, not going to happen. So I'm asking all of the stakeholders, and more importantly, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Turkey. All of you rogue, incorrigible, undemocratic countries that are still in the Stone Ages, leave Africa. We have our own issues, we have our own concerns, and yes, we have our own problems. But we don't need you to piggyback, to engage in all of your various forms of theft, kleptocracy, transnational criminalism. Leave Africa, particularly the Chinese, who we know are racist, will come into our countries and take advantage of young people, not pay them wages, and not want to educate the local masses. So I'm speaking directly to the chairman or president, Mr. Jinping. Go back to China. Africa doesn't want you. Now you may have the African Union and all these folks who are supplicant, who beg the Chinese for their monies so they can build their ornate buildings in Addis Ababa. And I'll talk about Ethiopia later on. But even the clowns at the African Union have to realize that there's a new and improved form of thinking. How many mansions do you guys need? Whether it's Titorino and his cars, his drug use, his alcoholism, his mansions. He's a clown. We all know he's a clown. But the clowns in the African Union, that's a whole different breed. They know better, and they choose not to do better. So, for those of us who work with the Federation of Democracy and Justice in Equatorial Guinea, and Mr. Armengol Ongonga Ondo of PP Spain, Partido de Popular in Spain, we're here to clean up the rot. The stench of individuals who think that they can come into Africa, take advantage of us, whether it's the lobbyists like Lanny Davis, Corvus Communications, Michael Petrozello, Cassian Associates, Charles Waterman, and Waterman International, all of these white males with intelligence backgrounds or individuals who used to work in previous U.S. administrations. Don't you guys have any sense of self? We're not some backwoods, illiterate continent. We're the cradle of civilization. The cradle of civilization. Think about that. Where you're in a baby, you're right, you're in a baby's, inside the baby's, you can talk about even the mother's womb, but when they put the baby in her little bed, the cradle. We cradled humanity. And for those of you out in rural America, we hear you, we see you, but also realize that Africa's changing for the better, as is the world. That being said, Teodoro Obiang Gema Basogo, Constancia Mangwe, Teodorino, Gabriel Lima, Teodoro Biogo, Job Obiang, Odolfo Obiang Biko, Anatolio Ndo Mba, Alejandro Ivuna, Miguel Ivuna, and your entire family, by the way, leave. Yesterday, you're not wanted. Oftentimes, when you're in small countries, people have small minds. I'm a citizen of Equatorial Guinea who's been denied my passport for 15 years, 16 years. My father, one of the pioneers of Equatorial Guinea, diplomat, educator, Presbyterian minister, lies in Salem, Oregon to this day, wanting to simply rest in peace in Bolondo. But the Fang, who rule our country, who have misruled our country, have denied even that man his dignity. That's not going to happen anymore. If you people don't leave, what's in store for you? We've been very patient. We've given you plenty of opportunity to steal. whether it's Joe Bobang's wife stealing money, storing money in embassies in cash around the world, as is the case with Constantia Mangwe, who, by the way, violates children. She has her little thugs go to different countries, find little boys, and she violates them as part of their little crazy ritual stuff. Giro Biogo is a sex trafficker who murdered someone in Brazil, many of women. These are all clowns who you wouldn't let run a Dollar General store in the most rural part of America where there is no cell service and no stoplights. But they're the kind of people that individuals who understand the game want in power because they can manipulate them. That's done. So as we get ready to start a new year, a new and improved Equatorial Guinea, without the Chinese, without the Russians, without the North Koreans, and without those multinationals who choose to engage in behavior they know is nefarious and underhanded. Stop. I salute the country of Angola and its tremendous work that it's doing.